Welcome to part 2 of my story. Sorry, camera shaky. This is just going to be my face and me telling a story. You can tab out and do other things while you listen, feel free to. If you haven't heard part 1, I suggest going back and listening to it first. So, I left off with the day I went to take the test for my permit. And I'm going to finish this story up and then start another one. I went to go to my second period, which was Bears class, my history class. As I was about to walk into class, all of a sudden someone interlaces their fingers in my hand, my right hand, and immediately starts running off, literally pulling me behind them as I'm trying to stay on my feet as we run off. Go through a couple doors and end up running through a couple of doors. The bell rings, and then she ducks under the stairwell on C building. And she was pulling me, and I was trying to stay balanced on my feet so much that I didn't duck, and my head rammed straight into the stairwell at full running force. And I immediately go, "Damn it, woman! Ah, God, that hurts." And then she laughs and she says sorry. And then she pushes me on my chest against the wall, and she comes up like where her body is touching mine from from the neck down. Her complete body is like leaned against mine. And she goes, "Let me see, let me see." And I was like, "No, it's okay," and I have my hand over my forehead, being the guy thing, going, No, it's okay, it's okay. And then she just starts rubbing her arms, like, around my neck and interlacing her fingers, and she looks me in the eyes, and she kisses me, and I wrap my arms around her, and I kiss her back. And we just stand there, just looking at each other. And we kiss a couple more times. And then this intercom went off. "Clayton Ammons, please come up to the front." Because my father was there to take me to go do the test. So she goes to class and I leave. And my God, that was, talk about, because we've never kissed before that point, and it was intensive. And now that I told you about that, I'm going to backtrack some, and I'm going to tell you about so that happened at about this time of year, in the October range. So let's go back about 2 months. We were in school. I was hanging out at my friend Brandon's house after school one day. And, or it was on the weekend. It was a Friday night. I went to go stay the night at his place. Me and Brandon were goofing off. Didn't have crap to do. Just BSing for the weekend. And, so we're sitting there playing some video games, doing guy stuff, just, throwing some ninja stars at trees, because, guy thing, going walking down to the lake, going swimming at the river, and then we got bored as hell, and at this point, me and her's been texting me, and, she was like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she goes, "Well, where are you at?" And keep in mind, I was 17, and she was younger than me by like 3 years. Yeah, or 2 years, whatever. She's like 15 or something. So, which isn't that bad. Come on now. 15 and 17, not bad. So I don't want to hear anything in the comments about, "Oh man, you're a cradle robber. Oh man, you like to them young girls." Nah, shut up, 15, 17 is not that bad. So screw yourself. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, so what, are you going to have your mom drop you off? She goes, just tell me where you're at, texting me. And I was like, Brandon, man, wouldn't it be cool if we got to hang out with some chicks? And Brandon was like, yeah, man. I was like, what if I could make it happen? Brandon goes, dude, there is no way you can make it happen because I have zero luck with women. And I was like, well, what if I can? And I looked at him like with a smile on my face, like, what if I can, It's definitely in the realm of possibility. And he goes, well, if you can do it, I will kiss your feet and give you $20. And I was like, So I text her and I was like, hey, I'm with Brandon. Do you think you could bring a couple other girls along to entertain him? She was like, yeah, I've already got a couple other girls with me. We're going to drive by and pick you up. And Brandon can come too. And I was like, all right. So I was like, Brandon, I guarantee you in the next 20 minutes there's going to be a couple, at least 2 or 3 girls pull up in this car. Or pull up in a car. I was like, the second they pull up in the car, you've got to get on your knees, kiss my feet, and give me $20. Hold and behold, all of a sudden, a minivan pulls up in the yard. I was like, Brandon, there's our girls. He immediately goes, oh my God, with the biggest goofy smile on his face. Like, bro, you did it, you really did it. And he gets on his knees. He literally kisses my shoes, like no joke. Hands me $20. And we get into the van and we start driving off. And, the girl that I've been texting, the one that we had that first kiss and everything, she's sitting in the back of the van. So I get in the back of the van. Brandon gets in the front of the van, in the front back seat. You got your 2 front seats and then your 3 rows. He gets in the front, sitting there talking to 3 different chicks. So he's just, macking it up. He's one of those guys that gets louder when girls get around. Like, just naturally gets, he tries to do the whole, whatever it is. Like, he gets louder and everything. Tries to get macho. So me and her sitting in the back seat. I've been told to, treat women with respect. Don't ever touch them. Don't ever do anything. They are sacred objects and we are not worthy. So I was sitting back there sweating bullets. And we were just talking, just having a good old time like we would talk on the phone. Except I was really shy. And she was like, you don't have to be quiet. You don't have to be shy. And we're just sitting there having a good time. I look up. And I see who's driving the car, or the van. And it's one of her friends, which I know is younger than me. So I know it doesn't have a license. And I'm like, I was like, something about this just seems a little suspicious to me. So I go, hey, does your mom know you have your van? And she goes, no, I stole it. And I was like, we're riding around in a stolen van. And Brandon's like, ha 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 ha, that's funny. She goes, no, seriously, I stole the van. And we blew it off as a joke, like, ha ha, no you didn't, whatever. So we were riding around for a good hour, and she could not drive. I literally thought we were going to wreck 100 times. So eventually we take the girl that I've been talking to back home because her mother texted her and said, you need to be home right now. Where are you? She's one of those wild spirits that'll go out and disappear and be like, what are you going to do about it? She's one of those wild, crazy spirits. And so I went to take her back home. I got out of the van with her. And she put her arms around me and she hugged me. And she kissed me on the cheek. And, she was just waiting for me to kiss her on the lips again, like at the movies. And, of course, guess who didn't make a move? Me. Because of how I've been raised. And I just remember her red hair and her blue eyes and how much I just wanted to, I was lusting after her so bad. And yet all my morals and my body, my body was saying, go for it, do it now, kiss her, hold her, touch her, feel her, everything. And then my mind having this fight going, no, Justy, it's not right. You can't do this. You've got to have your morals. You got to be honorable. You got to be justified. You've got to be the best man you can be. And you got, and she was wanting it really bad. She even got pissed at me for not kissing her. She started to think that I did not have feelings for her. But so we go and drop her off, give, hug, and it was a good 10-second hug. And it was great, just to feel her body against mine. The little kid, she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I said, bye, babe. And by this point, we have no relationship. No talk of a relationship, nada. It was just like an untold, or an unspoken thing between us, and it was amazing. So, um, so we go drop her off, and then she drives back to the house to drop me and Brandon off. Drops us off, and come to find out a couple days later, she actually got pulled over after that and got in some serious trouble, but didn't rat any of us out. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, we could have been like suspects to a GTA, we could have been like part of a GTA thing. And I was like, and see, this is what I'm talking about. She's one of those wild spirits, and it was something that I've never seen before in my life. Like, I was that sheltered, and to be able to see a woman that wild with like blood red hair and blue eyes, and was just so outgoing and brave and outspoken, and me, a quiet gentleman that would rather be, listen and, and follow the rules. People would never that's something that's the opposites. She was fire and I was ice. And yet we came together and sparks just freaking shot out of the sky, but anyways. So go back to Brandon's place. And yeah, so she never knew that, but I made $20 off of that. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. So time goes on, and let's see, do I have enough time to tell another one? Yes, I do. I'm only at 11 minutes. I'm going to try to do these in around 20-minute intervals, so this will be the last story. So my mother, who lives in Texas at the time, I hadn't seen since I was like 12. Her and my father had a huge breakout, like falling out. I was raised in like a broken home, but anyways, so yeah, she comes to visit one day. Like, literally, I forget why, it was out of the blue. She just shows up. And she was like, hey, you want to hang out and stuff? And I was like, sure. So, she comes and picks me up one day. My father has no idea about this. No one knows, actually. So she comes and picks me up, and we're riding around town. And I was like, hey, I want you to meet somebody. And, at this point, me and her are texting daily. Like, not only daily, but like every 10 minutes, me and her are texting each other. And I was like, hey, is it okay? Because I know where she lives because of where her friend dropped her off. And I was like, I want to introduce you to my mother. She just came into town. She's only going to be here for a couple days. Can I please introduce you to her? And the girl that I was been infatuated with said, of course. So she comes by, and I slip up. And I'd screwed up here, but it was a good screw up. My mom goes, so is this your girlfriend? And it's like I said, it was an unspoken thing, so I really didn't know what to say. But like naturally, I said, yeah, she's my girlfriend. I wanted to introduce you to her. I was like, man, that's gonna come back and bite me in the ass. I shouldn't have said that because we're not like technically BFGF. So we drive over there, and she comes walking out of the house with her arms crossed and like a black shirt, her black shirt, My Chemical Romance shirt, and some really dark blue jeans, and her, all-star Converse. And she just comes walking out, and she's like smiling and kind of real. And this is the first time I've ever seen her drawn back before. She was actually drawn back for the first time ever, and it really made me think like, wow, she's actually nervous about meeting my mother, So my mother gets out of the car and says, oh, look at you, you're so beautiful. And she goes, thanks. And then she goes, my son is so infatuated with you. Ever since I got back, the only thing he's been able to talk about is you. And she kind of smiled and blushed. And remember, this story I'm telling you is also before we had our first kiss. And she was smiling and blushing. She goes, so you're dating my son, huh? You're my, you boyfriend and girlfriend? And I was like, fuck. Now it's out. Now the truth. Now she's going to tell her no, and I'm going to look like the biggest stupid asshole in the world. But no, surprisingly, she goes, yeah, but things are complicated. That's literally what she said. And I was like, and she looked at me while she said it, like, so you told your mother that you were my boyfriend, I was your girlfriend. And I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but she gave me that look, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, but things are complicated. So I was happy. I was stoked. I was like, all right, cool. So, her and my mother talked. My mom was like, oh, she's so adorable. She's sweet. She's so beautiful. Blah, blah, all these, awesome things. And, I ain't gonna lie, she's a beautiful woman. So, and then, like, we left. And she texted me and she goes, I'm so embarrassed, she's like, your mom hates me. And I was like, no, my mom doesn't hate you. My mom really likes you. And she goes, so you told your mom that I was your girlfriend, huh? Question mark, because that's her signature thing. Whenever there's a question mark involved, she puts two. So, and I was like, yeah, it kind of just happened. And she goes, it's okay. Smiley face. And I was just like, yes, something great's going on here. So, I go spend the rest of the time with my mother. And this is also the first time I smoked pot with my mom. So I'm going to go ahead and include that here as a little side story. So, oh yeah, I remember why she came back. How did I forget? It's because her mother passed away. My grandmother on her side. So, we went riding back to her friend's house, who she was staying with for the 2 days, because technically she wasn't supposed to be in North Carolina. A bunch of legal issues, which I won't get into on YouTube. But she comes back for her mom's funeral, my grandmother. So, we go back there, and we're staying at her friend, whose name I'll only use, Misty's house. And, I was like, can I stay here tonight? I want to be able to spend some quality time with my mother. I haven't seen you in years. I'd really like to stay here tonight. She goes, yeah, you can stay here. So I texted, the girl I've been infatuated with, and I told her, hey, my cell phone's going to die. I'm staying here with my mother tonight. So please, be understanding. Don't be mad, because she's wild, has a temper, So I knew if my phone just went off and I stopped texting her, she would be like, who are you out with? What have you been doing? You've been, even though we weren't dating, well, technically we're, I don't even know. So, you know how girls are. So, yeah, I would stay with my mother, and my mom and her Misty go out into the garage. And I come out there, and I smell something, like, really strange. And they pull out a little pipe about like this big, about as big as my big ass nose. It's a little clay pipe. Put some smoke in there. It was really just blunt weed, and her and my mom are smoking it. And Misty goes, "Can your son smoke?" And my mom goes, "What? No, he can't smoke. He's only 17." And I was like, "No, I can smoke. I can do it, Mama. I promise you, I can smoke some weed." And she was like, have you ever smoked weed before? And I was like, do you not remember when we were kids, when I was younger? But I didn't say, I was like, yeah, I smoked it, and she was like, all right. But really, I may have smoked it once or twice before then, And that was like when I was real young. So really, I kind of forgot how it felt. So I'm sitting there smoking a bowl with my mom and Misty, because she's all tore up about her mother dying. And who I wasn't really close to, which is really disappointing. I wish I was closer to her, could have been closer to her, but, life's a bitch. So, sitting there smoking this pipe with my mom, and I remember getting so high on the couch that night, like, I got super high, and I got the munchies, ate a little bit, and I remember just laying out on Misty's couch. And I'm just laying there, and I'm thinking, man, my life is so great right now. Because, when you get super high, everything's awesome. And I was like, the girl I love told my mother that she was my girlfriend, even though she said, things are complicated, but yeah, we're going out. My mother, I got to spend time with my mother and smoke weed all on the same day. It's like, today is a good day. Today is a great day. And, I knew, like, from the first time I seen that girl, I was like, I'm going to marry this girl. This girl's going to be the one for me. And I know people say, oh, it's puppy love. It doesn't really count. Puppy love is always blown out of proportion. But no, man, there's it's just that society has gotten so bad nowadays that they accept bullshit. I don't accept bullshit. I gave my heart to one lady, and that's where it'll be the rest of my life. Um, and that was the girl I've been infatuated with for many years. But I know, oh man, you're so freaking, oh, you're so psychotic. You're crazy to think that things are still there between you. But hey, you don't know me. You don't know my story yet. But by the time I'm done, you will, and maybe you'll understand. Until then, just hold your comments about my life to yourself and learn from my mistakes, because there's going to be quite a few that are about to be reviewed in the next episode. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking, I'm the luckiest man alive. And that is the end of this story. We're about 21 minutes. So thank you for watching part 2 of however many they're going to be. I'm doing this so that people can learn from my mistakes. I'm not going to be here for much longer on this planet. I'm going to die. So I'm just going to make these before I die, so someone can learn from my mistake. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, there is no happy ending. So learn so you can have your own happy ending. That's why I'm doing this. Don't get your hopes up saying that there's a fucking happy ending, because there's not. There's happy events, but the ending's going to be fucking bad. Because I'm going to die. So is everybody else in life. I know, everybody's going to die eventually. Well, I'm going to die soon. I'm going to die real soon. So, yeah. Alright, thank you for watching. Peace.